We've been talking a lot about how big banks are starting to charge customers monthly fees for a lot of different things. Most recently, debit cards, just using those debit cards. And as we know, people are not exactly happy about all those extra fees.
But there are things you can do, and Jack Otter, executive editor of CBS Money Watch, is here with some options for you to look at. Jack, good morning.
Good morning.
First, let's talk about some of the hikes we're seeing at some of these banks, the monthly fees.
Sure.
Wells Fargo, $3?
That's a test. They're not doing it in every market. Wells Fargo and JP Morgan. The famous one is the Bank of America $5 debit fee charge. That's national and has gotten lots of attention.
Citibank, $20?
Well, no, that's not a fee. What Citibank has done is they've said, look, we know everybody hates these debit card fees. We're not going to charge you. So instead, they've got these tiered levels. If you don't have $15,000 in your checking, savings, mortgage, everything else, you get hit with a $20 fee for having a checking account. But then they give you a little escape clause, which is this basic stripped-down checking. You need only $1,500. So they're kind of mixing it up.
But so that's your average daily balance?
Yes, but if you have a mortgage with them or something, they count that, so you're excused.
Things to keep in mind. And even if it's a test, isn't it pretty much safe to say, like, it's a test in quotes? I mean, if they're trying it out and everybody else is doing it, pretty much every major bank is going.
They're trying it in a couple of markets. I'm not positive these things will stick. You know, the credit card companies, remember when there were a couple of years ago, we cracked down on credit card companies and said you can't do all these tricky double billing cycles and so forth, and they said, we're never going to give anyone a credit card again. They recently broke a record for the amount of junk mail in boxes, 1 billion direct mailing seeking credit card customers. So they came back, rewards are coming back. I wouldn't be surprised, given the anger right now, if these things don't stick.
Let's talk about other options here. Credit unions, good idea?
Yes, they're the winners out of all of this. Everybody's discovering credit unions. They're nonprofits. They don't pay taxes. Their CEOs tend not to travel in Gulf Streams. It's amazing. The fees are lower. They charge you less when you say the interest rates on mortgages, auto loans, but they pay you more on CDs and savings accounts. Lots of people are switching.
It almost sounds too good to be true, but all you hear is people do it. A brokerage firm may be another option for you. This was sort of surprising.
Yeah, I think this is very interesting. Now, if you don't have enough money to keep a minimum balance, a brokerage firm is probably not an option. You're going to have actually a higher minimum balance. But here's what people don't think about. You have old 401ks at former employers that just tend to sit there. You really should be rolling those over anyway into a Fidelity or Schwab. Do that, suddenly you might have enough to get free banking.
Oh, so that would count?
Exactly.
Okay.
Smaller banks, local banks, the tiny ones down the streets?
Under $10 billion in assets, they're exempt from the so-called Durbin Amendment, this whole swipe fee thing. So they're making hay out of this. People's Bank in Ohio is paying its customers $5 a month to use their debit cards. They're paying the customers. Exactly, which is very clever marketing. And so I think a lot of people are going to switch to community banks. First of all, they are cheaper. They just can't get the customers, so they can't charge the fees the bigger ones do. Plus, it sort of fits into this whole anti-Wall Street sentiment. I think people want to get back to Main Street.
Being a part of community. You can also do online banking. Is that practical, though? I mean, what if you need to make a deposit?
Sure. You know, people are already doing half their banking online, so you can go whole hog. For deposit, it's getting easier. You can scan the check. You can even take a picture of it with your cell phone at some banks, and I think that's going to become common soon. And of course, they don't have ATMs, but Ally Bank, for instance, will repay you any ATM fees. The brokerages, by the way, don't have ATMs, and they'll do the same thing for you. So I think everybody is seeing the big banks wobbling a little bit and doing whatever they can to draw in customers at this time.
Push them right over the edge.
Can you ever negotiate out of those fees with the big banks if you don't want to move?
You know, it's like Jerry Maguire, show me the money. I mean, they don't have a big incentive to negotiate with you. Or to keep you, that's true. But there's certain things you can do. For instance, if your company has a banking relationship, very often you can piggy bank on that and say, hey, I'm an employee of XYZ, they do all their banking, can I have the gold level or whatever it is, free checking? And a lot of places will do that for you.
It is worth pointing out, a lot of people talking about leaving their banks, a lot of banks talking about getting rid of customers too. And
it's true. And they also know that banking is very sticky. It's a pain. You got to change your auto pay, you got to change your direct deposit. And they know that, and the numbers have proven that most people actually end up not changing.
It is kind of a pain in the butt, it's true. All right, thanks for breaking it all down there with our options. Jack, nice to see you.